name is Candida, and I hope that wherever you are in the world, that everything is going well for you. So for those of you who don't know me, I'll just give you a little bit about who I am and why I'm making this video. So I've had a health business for the past 30 years, and within that health business, I do many things, including hypnotherapy, spiritual life coaching, healing, teaching yoga, and also my big venture for this year is I'm hosting a beautiful retreat in Bali in September of this year. And for those of you who know me, and for those of you who don't, just letting you know that I've made lots of videos on my page, Messages from the Heart, and just on my normal Facebook page, on my website, about Bali and the Bali retreat and what the retreat will entail. But what I wanted to do today is just talk a little bit about my first retreat experience. And just to let you know that in case you're sitting on the fence about whether you should do this, whether you should not, should you do this for yourself, should you take the leap. My first experience was quite unusual, but very synchronous. So my first retreat experience was as a participant, not as a leader. And I'd been wanting to do a yoga retreat for a long time, but didn't want to go by myself. And what happened sort of out of the blue. So this story is a lot about synchronicity. And I think the reason I'm saying it is, telling you about all this, is that it's how important it is to look at seeming coincidences, which are a lot of synchronous events that come into place, and actually like pieces falling into place of a puzzle. And as you reflect back, you see this whole big thing opening up. So my first experience was in 2008. As I said, as a participant, I'd been wanting to go, but didn't want to go by myself. Out of the blue, one of my yoga students rang me one Friday night and said that she'd been wanting to go on a yoga retreat for a long time. She didn't know, she'd found one, she didn't know whether she was ready. She also didn't want to go on her own. And she asked me, because I'd been teaching her yoga for a while, did I think she was ready? And I said, absolutely, I think you are ready, but would you like some company? And so long story short, we went together. And it was a beautiful location, beautiful place. Never in a million years did I ever think that I would be leading a retreat myself. Because my situation at the time was, so we're talking 2008, recently divorced a few years back, sold family home, bought a new home, was working in my business. I'd also reduced my time at my full-time job so that I could also focus part-time on my business, and I kept my other secure job just so I could pay the bills. So I was doing all of that, and so finances were a bit, you know, in the building up stage, you might say. So that was my situation at the time. So, and I had not, I had done a bit of public speaking. Like my full-time job was in a school, and I brought a lot of my programs and workshops and stuff into the school system with, you know, students, teachers, principals, and all of that kind of stuff. But no way did I consider myself to be in any way in the league of doing this kind of thing. So it never entered my mind. So I was in that first retreat as a participant. We were at dinner, and it might have been about 3 or 4 days into the retreat. Was a 6-day one, so I think we might have been about 3 or 4 days in. And the instructor came and sat next to me, like the retreat leader, came and sat next to me one night, and he said to me, "Miss Candide, you could do this." Just literally out of the blue. He didn't know me. He just knew that I was Candida from Australia, you know, a little bit about me, but not much. And I said to him, "Do what?" And he said, "What I am doing, you can do." And seriously, I laughed. And I thought, what? You know, seriously? No, he said, "You do not know the pearl that you have." And I was so moved and touched by that. It was one of those extreme aha moments that literally, like, more than a light bulb thing. And I thought, what? He said, "No, you can do this." And it was literally like everything in my brain had switched around and was saying, it's doable, you can do it. Now, just to understand, that person was not really, I mean, it's not normally me to be like that. Normally I'd be concerned, and you might even say fearful, of doing something on a world international level like this. Never before, never, didn't consider myself good enough to be doing anything like that, never thought about it before. And in that one moment, there was no fear. And, you know, and I'm a planner. I don't just, well, I'm more spontaneous now, but I'm generally a planner. And that would have been something that I would have been planning for a long time. But in that moment, everything, there was no fear, there was no nothing, and except the possibility and the openness of something inside of me that said, yes, you can do this. And like, long story short, you know, there's a bit more to the story, but long story short, I came back to Adelaide, I made contact with the retreat people, and I went back. So I've now been back to Bali 5 times, but I went back 3 or 4 more times there and ran retreats there year after year, just with people from all over the world. Now, I'm sharing this story because just to show how from one thought or feeling, I kept getting this nagging thought, you need to go to Bali to do a yoga retreat, you need to go to Bali to do a yoga retreat. And I was resisting it for such a long time because I didn't really want to go to Bali. I had the thing in my head of the Kuta Bali, you know, with all the Yahoo touristy stuff. But this was in Ubud, and nothing like, I mean, that part touristy stuff is fine if that's what you're after, but that wasn't what appealed to me. But this retreat venue was in Ubud, in the mountains, so very quiet, very calm, very serene. And so from that amazing person saying to me, you can do this, I then did retreat after retreat, and not just in Bali, in Adelaide as well. And from that, I actually grew so much as a person, as a spiritual teacher, as a normal teacher, as a yoga teacher, in my life in every way, stepping beyond my fears because somebody thought I could do something, and somebody that didn't even know me, it made no sense at all. But I listened to my intuition, and my intuition was saying do it, and I felt open and expansive about it. I didn't feel contracted or fearful. So that's how I started my retreat adventure. And so yeah, just putting it out there so that if you're concerned, you have any concerns, or you're fearful, or you think you can't do it. I mean, finances were a really big thing for me at the time that I really did not have. It meant I had to book, and I did. I had to book like quite a number of rooms, and hope and pray that the people came, because I was an unknown. Nobody knew me. Like, it wasn't the thing like doing videos, like, you know, you have like a community these days. There was nothing like that then. And I had to hope and pray and trust that the people would come. And look, it didn't happen, like, people didn't come straight away. There was a period of time where I got very concerned that oh my God, what have I done? You know, I'm going to lose all this money, blah, blah, blah. And towards the end time, the people did come, and I had lots of people come to my retreat. But I had to stay in trust. I had to trust that how it all came about was that quite phenomenal, really, how that all came about. And so I trusted that process, even though in front of my eyes it was like, nobody's booking in. But I had this, I believed in my message and what I wanted to share, and I believed in how it all came about, and I trusted in that, trusted my intuition. So I guess I'm saying to you, trust your intuition about this, trust your instincts, and I can guarantee you that this is, if you come, this will be an amazing transformative experience for you in so many ways. And I've been thinking for a while, who am I doing this retreat for? And everything that you hear these days about promoting stuff is that you need to sort of narrow it down to a target audience. And I have a lot of difficulty with that, because this is for anybody of any age group. Any age group, you know, like I had young people to older people, like in their 70s. I mean, I'm in my 70s, you know, and it's really not about the age or the where we are, or because this time on our planet, we are all, just like we were in the pandemic, we were all in the same boat, so to speak. We were all in there with the same stuff affecting us in different ways. Now, even though the pandemic has gone into the background a bit, and we're not so concerned with all as we were before, we're not so restricted as we were before, we're still in the same boat. We are still dealing with different ways of living, of working, of being. The consciousness of the planet is raising so much, and we are asked to step up to that level, whatever. And I don't like to talk in levels, but just to step up from wherever we are. And we are shown how amazing we are as human beings. You know, we have such amazing opportunity these days. So wherever you are in your life, doesn't matter how old you are or what your yoga experience is, even if you have none, what your meditation experience is, even if you have none, it doesn't matter at all, because we all, I think, are looking for a way to answer the call that's within our heart. I think we all have this heart push. We may not know what it is, we may not be really clear about it, but we have this heart push, I think as a global consciousness and as a humanity, that we need to step up with everything that's happening in the world, and we are being called to be more of who we are. And that may be that you are so busy in your life just trying to make ends meet and with family and everything, that you just need some time for you to reset and give yourself the time to ask the questions. What am I meant to be doing here? What do I really want for my life? How do I want to be? How do I want to parent my children? How do I want to be in relationships? Am I happy with what I'm doing? And so in this retreat, we are going to be, the space will be there for that. And I've been doing this kind of work and working in the health business for more than 30 years. And so I'm really good at meeting you where you're at, and whatever it is that you want to, that you come there for, even if it's just, but that's important, simply to relax and allow yourself to be, just to breathe. And then from there, you can reflect on your life. The yoga does that, allows that to happen. And with the yoga, it's also an opportunity to release, because emotions that don't serve us and feelings that don't serve us anymore, from many, even from childhood, they get trapped in our muscles and in our body systems. And it's through the breath and the physical stretching and allowing the breath to flow through our body, to flow through our muscles, that those sorts of things are released. They just really come up and release naturally through that. So we are in an allowing process through the yoga, but many more benefits from that. The meditation process, even if you've never done it before, allows your mind to quiet. You know, like, I mean, we can never stop the mind, because it's meant to be thinking, but we can quiet the mind, and we can connect with our inner essence of our heart, and allow that to come forth. As well, there'll be like spiritual teachings and discussions about whatever you might want to bring up, or whatever. I mean, I will have topics, but it will also always be in a transformative, it will always be a transformative process, so that you will leave that retreat, I guarantee you, more uplifted and feeling, for want of a better word, new you, a more evolved and developed you, a more insightful you, and a more expanded you. And Why is that important? Well, it is important for us because personally, because as we then go forth into our normal life, we will be that person rather than the person that came before that was bogged down with all the stuff that doesn't serve us. Not only that though, we will be coming forth into our life, emanating those feelings, those thoughts, that being and becoming that new us, which will then have an improved and different and new effect on the people in our life, on our families, on our work, everybody in our life. So, I hope that you have enjoyed this video. That's just my story of how I came to do videos. And just to point out, not videos, how I came to do retreats. And just to point out that from that one retreat that I went and did just out of complete trust, so much opened up for me in my own belief of myself and in what I came to do with myself. Like I eventually left my full-time, pretty shortly after, 2 years after that, I left my full-time job and took a chance and just completely did my health business, which I'm still doing. And from there, I learned, expanded myself and my growth in my business. And I learned, became a hypnotherapist, certified spiritual life coach, just constantly learning. So expanded my reach, and expanded my own potential. So it's not to say that the same thing is going to happen to you, because you may not need that in your life. You may need something else. But just by listening to your intuition and listening to the what we think are coincidences in our life, but which are synchronicities, and I believe it is the universe or spirit or the universe, whatever it is to you, bringing opportunities to our attention, saying, if you like, you can do this, just offering. You don't have to, and it's okay if you don't, but if you like, you can do this. And if you do, this, and this can happen. But if you don't, that's okay, you'll be doing something else. So I guess I'm just offering this just really to show what listening to our intuition and the opportunities that come in our way and trusting what that can do. All right. Much love, and thank you for your time. And I'd like to say, let's love ourselves enough to do this. Ciao for now.